The following is a spoilercast on A Hat in Time, in which all aspects of the game will be covered. If you want to keep your experience pure, please check out the game before listening to this episode. I mean, it's only $30, and it's really good, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to True Route Radio, the podcast that covers games from very start to their final end. My name is Trungasm, but you can call me Mom, and today I've brought on two other guests to talk about a game 5 years in the making, A Hat in Time. With me today are King K and Heavy Eyed.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
It's going well.
Congratulations on 30,000 subs.
Oh yeah, that happened. My life has been so hectic that I just kind of put that out of my mind a little bit. But that did happen.
Oh yeah?
That was kind of a weird milestone, yeah.
You're moving and shaking.
Yeah, well I'm not sure about shaking, but I'm moving.
Doing big things.
Alright. So what time is it over there on Heavy Eyed? Or should I say Mitch?
It's 3 p.m. currently.
Oh, a lot better for you then.
Yeah, it's just nice afternoon right
It's
now.
10 p.m. right here.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, hopefully we'll keep this shorter than the Sonic podcast because there's only 3 of us and there might
I
be a little
make
bit less
zero
to talk
promises about that.
about. Okay, well, let's see how critical we are about this game. So, I guess when did you guys hear about it?
Oh, wow.
I heard about it when it was announced like not 2 years ago, 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. 2012 was 5 years ago. That's when I heard about it too.
Well, I said 2 years ago because I was about to say 2012. For some reason, I said 2
Yeah.
years ago. It's definitely not the time span.
It was definitely kind of like fading in and out for me over the last half decade. It would be like, oh yeah, that's a game that exists. Can't wait for that.
I knew it when it was announced, but after a year or two, I forgot it existed until this year. And then, because I didn't back it, and by the time that
me
that
neither.
was done, I was like, I'll just buy it when it comes out. So I forgot about it for a while, but then it kind of just re-emerged.
All right. I guess what are your like just general impressions on it? Since we kind of skipped over it last time. On a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give the game?
Ooh, I'll give it like a 4.5. It definitely fixes a lot of camera issues that a lot of 3D platformers have, but it still has some jank stuff in there that sort of held it back for me. But otherwise, it was near perfect.
It's hard to say. I really don't know, because I don't know if it's I don't know if it's worthy of a 5, especially since Mario Odyssey's coming. And that game is almost certainly worthy
luckily,
of a 5.
I think it picked the best time to come out when we wouldn't have a comparison level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd just have to settle for a strong 4. Yeah. It's very good. Very good. I enjoyed it pretty much all my time
Yeah,
with
I'd
it.
probably put it around there too. Like, if you were to say like Mario controls were like perfect, this is like slightly behind that. But I think the mission structure and the camera are definitely big improvements for me.
Yeah.
I guess because everyone makes this comparison. I think they're kind of different games, but everyone's eventually compares this to Yooka-Laylee. I figure Yooka-Laylee is more like a Banjo-Kazooie and this is more like a Mario.
Yeah. And
I thought that it was gonna be a Banjo-Kazooie when I played it. And then it was more like a mishmash of every platformer that's ever existed.
yeah, because it's got the power-ups and stuff that Banjo does.
Yeah.
Like a little bit. But its movement is so good.
Yeah, that was like my favorite thing, is that it's not necessarily like Sunshine, but it has the same kind of range where there's so much you can do with it, like dash canceling. That's like my favorite.
You're very mobile.
Yeah.
So like a lot of like if this kind of platform existed in Rare or Mario games, I'd be a little frustrated. But you have so many ways to get yourself out of that situation in this one.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't played a whole lot of Yuka. Like, I only got to the second world before I just sort of dipped out. But from what I played, the movement was just so dull.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since the world was so large, there's definitely a lot of parts where you're just you're like running on top of the bat to get around faster, or you're just slowly making your way across with nothing to interact with.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, like, A Hat in Time is so great, because if you get bored running, you can just do long jumps and just play around with the cancels and stuff.
Yooka-Laylee controlled well, but it all like I think the chief difference is that Yooka-Laylee didn't do anything revolutionary in that department. I think all of the moves that they took were just different versions of what you'd find in Banjo-Kazooie, like the roll move. It's just like the whatever you call the thing. Where I haven't actually played those games. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, the Talon Shot. It's just like that, and
Yeah.
plus everything in that game was like rooted to a special meter, but that's a whole different issue. I think like it didn't control badly. Like I never had any issues with Yooka-Laylee's control scheme. It's just that A Hat in Time, you can do so much more with it. Like I like that you can jump and then delay your double jump, and they actually play around with that in creative ways. And dash canceling is forever going to be my favorite thing, and I want more games to do that because it's easier to land after a dash. I love it.
Yeah. One thing I will say, there was one kind of area where it was kind of annoying, where in Mafia Town, when the whole place was during lava and you had to like spin those little faucets, were you just supposed to hit him normally and just jump close to them and hit him?
That was a little janky, I have to admit.
Yeah.
They probably could have telegraphed, because what you're supposed to do is hit them. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that it was very easy to get into a position where you could hit them.
Because you had to like teeter-totter on the pipe, and then just hope that when you struck forward, you didn't move over a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Or you
I actually fell off
recoil.
trying to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, luckily you only take like 1 health damage and just bounce back up again.
Yeah, it's very forgiving, which is good.
I just like to say too that like all these speedrunning options that games are adding lately to cater to people that just want to go through it really fast and for presentation purposes are really, really nice.
Yeah. So what is in A Hat in Time for the speedrunning community? Because I don't think I've seen anything.
So you can outright just turn off cutscenes in general that aren't required things you have to see, and
there's a speedrun timer, and I think it's like one of the most popular games to speedrun even in its demo phase, which is really bizarre.
Yeah, I guess we'll address a small elephant in the room. So this game was kind of mired in controversy on 2 different fronts. My perspective is regarding the whole JonTron situation is there's so many different staff members working on this game that it kind of felt like such a small, insignificant thing. Granted, like white supremacy is kind of a hot take, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure there's so many other people involved in this game that wouldn't side with them that I felt fine supporting. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know JonTron was in it until a couple days after it had come out. People were like, "Oh, I can't believe he's still in it."
I didn't either. Until I played the game and heard him, and I'm like, "Oh."
I didn't even hear him. Like, who is he?
In Deadbird's studio, he's like the clerk owl, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean,
like if you don't want to support the game, I'm totally fine with your decision. It's your money. But personally, I found that it wasn't that huge of a deal.
It would have been expensive to replace him. Like, it just would have been a delay. Like, I get why they wouldn't have done it. It's just time and effort that they probably didn't have.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, for me, I didn't even really bat an eye. Because the situation with Yooka-Laylee was like, they removed him because they wanted to, and I'm like, yeah, I support that because you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree with that. And then they kept him in here for whatever reason. And to me, I'm like, yeah, I support that because that's your decision. He's like, he has one voice line in, like, it's not going to ruin the rest of the game for me. And to be honest, if he wasn't Yooka-Laylee, I wouldn't have cared either. He's such, like, it's not like he's directing it or he's like playing every major character or anything. I don't know.
Well, we can get into that. Yeah. But there used to be controversy about the main lead director as well.
Oh, really? Because I didn't know that.
Way back, like 5 years ago, he used to like dox and harass people. He's kind of moved away from that, but I can see why people don't want to support him in that direction either.
Well, if we're talking about that, so I don't even know what that is. But if that happened, then I can definitely kind of understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was back during the day when he went by the name Mecha the Slag, and he used to like run TF2 servers and stuff like that, and that was just a whole big mess on its own. Luckily, I think it's died down to the point where everyone has, for the most part, forgotten about it. But if you didn't want to support that for that reason,
Yeah, that I
Same
get.
kind of thing.
I think it's just the JonTron thing that I never cared about.
Yeah.
He just said stupid things, and I'm not really a fan of him anymore because of that. But it's not like I don't know. Like, there are some movies I watch that have actors that I'm not a fan of in real life, and I still kind of enjoy them. So
Yeah, well, like, Ender's Game is one of my favorite books, but
Oof,
of course,
yeah.
since Card happens to be a real asshole, so
Yeah.
luckily I think the movie, like, kind of wanted to get away from him too, so, you know, it's just up to the consumer.
Yeah, and like Yuka came out during the middle of like a JonTron meltdown, right?
Like, absolutely, yeah.
And like a Hat in Time is so much farther after, especially in internet time, that it sort of was irrelevant, I guess, to this conversation.
Alright, so now that we get away from that, do you actually want to talk about the actual game?
yeah, let's talk about cute
Okay.
things.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess, well, let's start with the intro. The animation is almost there, but it's still kind of in that janky, like, indie department. You know, I actually found, like, Yuka more polished in that segment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like one thing that threw me off were the mouths.
Yeah, I noticed, like, a lot of reviews point out that has a really slow and kind of awkward start, and I think it's just because that was when Mafia Town was the first thing that was made.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, but I'm sure everyone that stuck with it afterwards noticed that it was just... There's so much effort put into every little thing. Like, every single chapter has a title card to it. It changes the world just, slightly like it would have done in Mario 64 when you jump through the paintings. Everything's moved around a little bit, but it makes each timepiece you get feel more significant than just, I have to just do a normal platforming thing for 5 minutes.
I
Yeah,
think what's more impressive is that they didn't stick with a rigid formula for every world. And that's because I was playing Mafia Town, and I'm like, okay, I get the lay of the land here. It's Sunshine. And then you go to Deadbird, I think, Studio, or whatever.
Yeah, Deadbird Studio.
And then I'm like, oh, well, this isn't like Sunshine, really. And then you get to the Subcon Forest, and you're making contracts with people. I'm like, what?
And throwing people's painting souls into the fire.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what impressed me the most, is how varied the mission structures were. And they made an attempt to make every world distinct, like, not just thematically. It's just the structure of them is distinct too, and that's part of the reason why I remember each world and each mission so vividly. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm sure people have very different opinions on what's their favorite zone, just because they all have a very different hit handle and direction how they, did all the mission structure stuff.
one thing, like, I don't know if I enjoyed this or it's just I'm just sort of indifferent to it or whatever, but the chapters being like you go from chapter 1 to chapter 4 to chapter 2 then to 6.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Like, I was like, this is cool because it's time traveling, but I was also confused. I was like, did I miss something?
Oh yeah, so I didn't learn about the diary until halfway through the game, and then I found out there's sort of a structure to the order of the way things go, but yeah, it's a little weird.
Man, the only diary I found was the little hidden one in her room.
Oh, I mean, I didn't find out about that until halfway through, and then I already missed half the entries because I would have gone back and read all of them one by one.
Yeah, how are you supposed to read the diary entries for stuff before you have the ice hat?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's possible.
So I noticed there is a kind of all players are kind of funneled into a loop 2 until they get the hook shot, because there's so many missions that are cut off before you get to that point as well.
Yeah.
But I guess let's start talking about the hats. I used the sprint hat a lot, especially towards the end when you had to fight.
That was my
bosses
default
that
hat
lock
equip.
on you.
Yeah, definitely the cutest.
So I guess you went with the monster variant with the monster head.
Yeah, that one's the best. The freaking reptile.
Oh, I went with the
love it.
old timey hat cap. It was really
I
cute.
had the little visor.
I think that's the only variant I had for the sprint cap, though. That's probably why I kept it.
I got one today actually that was like a little headband with a little ladybug on it. I really like that.
No, wait, I have that one too. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, that was a really early one.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Did you guys use the badge that gave you the scooter?
Yeah.
Outside of. Okay, because I didn't bother using it outside of.
Okay, when I got it, I was like, this is really cute, but it's you can't double jump with it, I'm pretty sure, or it's either you can't double jump or you can't dash.
You can
One
do
of
both,
those
it
things
just
and-
cancels.
Yeah, but it felt really weird to me. I don't know. I'm trying to remember exactly why I stopped using it. I think it was just because,
Other badges are more useful.
yeah.
I
and
always had that badge on.
There was some complication with it. I can't even really remember at this point that I just prevented me from wanting to have it equipped at all times. But I had my time in the spotlight with it. especially in a subcon forest mission.
I didn't use the brewing hat that much because it just felt like just an ability that you used to get past things like an HM in a Pokemon game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think it killed a Mafia people instantly, but that was it.
That one's super situational.
I did like the little witch's hat though. I thought that was like really cute.
Oh yeah. So what do you guys think about the whole, like, any favorite mission you got from the Mafia level?
The Mafia level.
It was probably the boss for me.
Yeah.
Because it was the culmination.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. That's like the most standout example. Well, you know what? I don't know, because I really like the mission where you like fall in mud and become like an alien.
Oh yeah.
And scare off the Mafia people and chase that guy around. But the boss kind of left more of an impression, even though that one was cuter.
I think my only problem with the boss is sometimes the little notch in the ball. It's kind of hard to jump into without, taking like collision damage.
Yeah, I got hurt more times than I did trying to like go under the ball in that little notch part.
It actually took me a while to figure out what I was supposed to even do there. I don't know why. I was like, oh, okay, you're on a ball. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What I tried doing is just... Because I was like, oh, I'm a genius. And I just stood there and let him roll over me. I didn't actually jump on the ball. Because I was like, oh, I just have to avoid you. I sat there for a couple minutes.
It's kind of hard to tell whether it does collision damage to you, depending on where you jump on it. So, one thing I really like about bosses in this game are because sometimes they take so long. If you die early phases, they're shortened. If you haven't noticed.
Yeah, I noticed that, which is really nice because I got all the way to the end of the second world boss, and then I died. But I got back to that point super quickly.
Yeah, they basically they lessen the number of hits you need to go between phases. Like the outhouse, I died at the very end because I didn't know that. I forgot what the situation was, but I somehow missed the cue on when to hit him. And when I went back, I just went through the whole thing like half the time.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's a really nice touch.
Not to sound arrogant, but I didn't know because I didn't die.
Because you're so good.
I came close to dying. It's not like I did really well, but I didn't know that even happened. That's pretty cool.
Well, I figure it's a whole system where it's like, oh, you already proved that you can get past this part. We won't bullshit you with going through it all over again.
Yeah. And I did like especially for a platforming game, like the bosses were pretty hard. Usually you just hit through the old Mario, or you have to hit them 3 times and then they're dead, kind of thing. But these had like really complicated
I went into
phases.
the game expecting the bosses to be horrible because they always are in these kinds of games.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this sets a new standard for them because they all have like multiple different attacks that they use against you, and you have to figure out different ways to hit them when they're blue.
I didn't even realize you have to hit them when they're blue.
And they all have great music. Like, really great music. When I fought the Mafia guy for the first time, the problem was I had a review copy early, so I couldn't look up on YouTube what the song was, I don't think. I hated that, because I wanted to listen to the song.
Oh, and this is one of the times where I regret not buying the deluxe edition that includes the soundtrack, because I would have just wanted, the cheaper soundtrack along with that.
Yeah.
It's pain. Okay, I guess any more thoughts on Mafia Town, or you want to move on?
It's probably my least favorite worlds, but it's not bad. I think, like you said earlier, it kind of shows that it was the first thing they ever made. Like, I don't know. That's like it's kind of hard to explain. It's fine. It's just unremarkable.
Yeah, it's a good foundation, but it can be a bit of a slow start, especially since you don't start with the umbrella.
Yeah.
And I guess what are your opinions on Mustache Girl as well? I don't like her that much.
Really? I love Mustache.
Yeah.
Though I will admit I was expecting her to play more of a role than she did.
She disappears after that first world, and then she only shows up at the end to steal all the timepieces.
Yeah. That was like frustrating, but I do like her as a character, and the whole enemy meter going all the way to the left of the screen I love that so much.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was going to be like a mechanic in the game making friendships with people, but turns out
my favorite
like
scene is when they're concocting a plan to deal with the Mafia, and she's like, we'll put their innards in this like jar. I did not expect her to say that.
She gets really violent.
This game in general is kind of violent sometimes and goes to places that you wouldn't expect, So it looks really cutesy on the outside, and sometimes it'll just throw some like wild like curveball at you. It's really weird.
Yeah,
I
I
kinda
definitely
like
found
it.
myself thinking like, is this a kid's game? Like, I can't tell if this is a kid's game or not. Like a lot of the time.
Yeah. All right, I guess we'll move on to. I think my favorite was Dead Bird Studio, just because of the mission variety. That you moved into so many different genres in this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
The whole stealth thing that they introduced in the first episode, chapter, whatever, is so nice. Like, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. And then there was a cute little touch with Hat Girl holding up her finger like a spy gun and just sneaking around.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just I just noticed it too late, or if she had it the whole time. But she wears 2 sunglasses. Like she has 2 pairs of sunnies, like she does in the title card.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And if you try to get a third one, the whole machine explodes and you get a, you get.
Oh my god!
for
I
that
should
one.
have tried that.
I tried to get a lot of sunglasses on that. Game did not like that.
There's probably gonna be a mod to put on like 50 sunglasses.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like the mission structure where you're jumping between the 2 sets as they're filming the movies as well. I thought just a lot of stuff at the level design and Planet 2 in general is just really, really
Yeah,
fun.
I think my least favorite mission in the whole game though was in Dead Bird Studios, which was the parade one.
It reminded me of Mario Galaxy's, the clone things
Yeah.
where you had to,
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
I really like that.
I think it was a funnier way of doing that.
yeah,
basically.
pretty much. I just kind of got frustrated, like when it would say you need to go set off these switches or the fireworks or anything like that. When I would leave that cutscene, I would get hit automatically, without fail. Like no matter what I was doing, and that kind of frustrated me a lot.
I noticed in the time rift too, when you have to deal with them, they all follow you into the same time rift piece when you're picking it up because they didn't add in a script to make them stop moving or something.
I wasn't sure if that was like intentional or if that was just a programming mistake.
What's funny is in that time rift, if you fall from a great height, you can look over and you just see them all dive bombing. It's hilarious.
I missed that.
I really like how they reincorporate them too, because they start off as just a marching band that happens to hurt you, but then they turn into knife guys during the boss fight.
Yeah.
Although, who did you choose as that boss? Did you choose the disco guy end up being the boss, or did the conductor be the boss?
That's because I got more points, and
Oh, yeah?
so I was just like, I guess he wins.
Yeah.
I didn't know it.
I didn't.
Yeah, I ended up having disco guy. So
I underestimated this game. I was like, yeah, the conductor wins, I guess, because I just expected there would be a true final boss of the world, and you just fight it. But then, when I was fighting the conductor, I'm like, the other one is DJ Grooves. This is like, boy, this is ingenious, even though it's probably super simple. I need to actually see what DJ Grooves' fight is like to see if it's sufficiently different at all. I don't know if it is.
So let's compare notes, because I didn't do my research and I didn't watch the conductor version either. He basically turns on lights on and off, and then he has a knife, and then he tries to dash at you, and then you just hit him when he's trying to dash. And then at a certain point, he sends out those following guys to follow you, and he has shockwaves.
That sounds about the same.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, because we talk about like game devs being afraid of not showing the player everything. They went through the effort of making 2 different versions.
I was
of the boss
actually, for a little while, I was super disappointed because I did the final mission, and then you just grab the timepiece. So I'm like, oh, that's it. And then because I went and did other stuff in the world, like the time rifts, it took me a long while to try to leave the room so that I would get the call to tell me, oh, there's actually a boss. So for quite a long time, I was very disappointed because I was expecting like a boss. And then
Yeah, and they even gave you that message, you were expecting some kind of showdown or something? Yeah, it's really great.
oh, this one has Murder on the Owl Express too, which is probably one of my favorite missions.
Oh, yeah. I ended up picking the Murdered Owl as the culprit.
I picked the crows.
Oh yeah? Well, the crows are like the funniest characters I've ever seen. For some reason, I burst out laughing when they come up to you and ask you personal questions, and I don't know why.
The capture one is so good.
Yeah. And if you happen to type in a bad word for some of them, it'll give you achievement that says why.
Oh my god, really?
See, I didn't even try to
Yeah,
do that.
so like, when they ask what's your most embarrassing body part, so if you like type in penis or ass, yeah, it'll just give you achievement for that.
Oh, that's really good.
I picked the conductor because he just seemed evil.
Yeah.
And then I found out that no matter who you pick, they frame it as you're correct, which I
Yeah.
find hilarious, and I want to play that mission over again now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's even an achievement too if you fail to get any of the pieces in the time limit. So
I want to pick Hat Girl and see what happens, because they let you do that.
Yep. It's just because, like, in terms of like platforming, it wasn't really tough, but just the time limit and all the options you got made it really
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, I think what makes up for it is the stealth,
Yeah.
which actually kind of caught me off guard a few times, surprisingly.
Yeah.
It's so clever too with having the crowd laugh, and that's your cue to move across them when
Yeah.
they're not looking at you.
Yeah, that got me a couple of times.
I wish there was more of that. It was so clever. I think this is like set like a higher standard for Mario Odyssey because I need to see really clever shit in that game now.
Oh
compared to
yeah,
this one.
absolutely.
I mean, this game was great, but let's be real. Mario Odyssey is gonna... I may be overhyped for that game. That may ruin me if it's... I don't know. It's gonna be the best game ever made.
Whoa.
I swear to God.
A lot of people seem to think so, but a lot of people also say the same thing about Sonic Forces.
God.
Oh, they're wrong. They're just flat out wrong.
We're gonna have a field day with that one because I've played both at PAX and I have very, very polar opposite opinions on them. It wasn't really tough. I guess it just gave you an intro to exploring the area, but I found the photo taking, like the Diva mission cute.
That one just made me laugh, and it was so endearing. I don't know. Whenever a picture was taken, I went to go find pictures to see what the pictures
Yeah.
look like.
And it was really nice, like seeing the splash screens you'd seen earlier come up as those pictures. Like I really enjoyed that little touch.
I'm saving the corgi. I was like,
I didn't do that
best.
one.
Did you guys find the corgi text adventure?
Yes, I did, and I brute forced my way through the answers.
I did too. Though it was right next to one of my favorite things in video games where it gives you inspirational messages to cheer you up. I explored
Yeah.
every option on that computer.
Did
It
you
was my
see
favorite
the thing that the train explosion mission was reminiscent of Crash just because of the camera angle with the time limit? It felt like a Crash Bandicoot level just because of the way it was framed.
Oh, I thought you asked if it crashed. Like,
Oh no,
I was like, no, I don't recall that.
This game has been
It
pretty
did,
bug-free.
yeah. Now that you mention it, it's a linear track kind of. I didn't really put two and two together there, but I kind of get that. It's a little bit faster paced than Crash,
Yeah.
but yeah, the level design kind of is very familiar there.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I almost ran out of time on that like twice, and that was really exciting.
Yeah, for like, I keep saying like child friendly, but it's definitely not a child friendly game. But it definitely had some close calls with the time limit. Like usually those games are way too linear, and you just can mess around quite a bit. But I was like, oh man, I can't even hang around and see what's going on. I have to just smash straight through this, or else I'm gonna lose.
Well, they put that mission in the speedrunner demo specifically, so I think
Oh,
they
yeah?
designed it with that in mind more than the other
Clever.
missions.
Well,
even.
by that point too, it's definitely like testing your abilities to properly jump dash and stuff like that.
Yeah. Plus, it has like electro swing in the background.
Oh yeah.
That song is.
Are you a fan of
brilliant.
electric? Do you like Caravan Palace and stuff like that?
Well, I don't know what any of that is, to be honest.
Okay, I'll introduce you later. Good
I
man.
like the genre though, so definitely do that.
I guess it was just another thing that had just one function for the most part.
Yeah.
Could you use it to kill enemies or anything?
I never
I
tried.
think you can, but I never really tried because it seems impractical.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just using Sprint Hat so much I didn't bother, messing with that one.
I was relieved to finally get the ice hat though, because all throughout Mafia Town you see those little platforms. And I
Yeah.
was just like,
Mhm.
what am I supposed to do here? I spent so long, like.
I felt that way about the hook shot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought you got the hook shot a little bit
Yeah.
too late, but that's for later, I guess.
Well, I think if you go to subcon as soon as possible, then. But like that's not how I operate. Like
yeah,
I go where I'm supposed to go. I'm a good boy. I take it structured.
I think in a perfect world, the game would have had like the hook shot like accessible in every world at some
Yeah.
point, and then you wouldn't have to be forced to do that one mission subcon
yeah.
in the world.
That would have been nice, but I mean, it was fun. didn't detract from my enjoyment all too much.
Yeah, I think introducing it like halfway through is fine too, because you don't want to overwhelm the player with this completely new mechanic.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. It's just weird because once you get the hook shot, it's such a core mechanic. Like, it has become so integral to the rest of the game that you kind of forget that you didn't have it for a long time.
It feels real good too. It's like swimming like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I would buy a new badge and it would replace my hook shot, I was just like, where did it go? Like, why can't I do this anymore? I just forget that it was a badge and not like a thing you have on you at all times.
Mm-hmm. I think what really helps it out is that you can change direction with it willy-nilly. While other games, it would just be like basically a quick time action thing where you just jump to the other side.
Yeah, that was nice.
Like in the Wind Waker, where you have to like go through quantum physics to turn.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, so I guess we'll go to Subcon. Juni, what the hell is a Subcon anyway? Because I've heard it in Mario as well before, but I don't know what it means.
I don't know if this is just my brain trying to pick a pun out of this, but I kind of thought it was subcontractor.
You know what, that might be...
I don't know what it is. I thought like a Subcon was like some kind of... Was it like those Fox things? Or is that like a...
I thought it was like the little like Shy Guy like things with just...
Oh yeah, maybe.
I
don't know, but it has Snatcher and he's my favorite character in video games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Very audacious voice acting at that part.
As soon as I met him, I fell in love at first sight. It was like I just wanted to see him more.
That reveal is kind of creepy too when you're just hanging in this little bag and then you just hear the whole forest shake and crows moving in.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. You spent ages.
Yeah, I will say that that first mushroom you start when you first land there is a hell of a bitch to climb.
First mushroom.
When you're first laying in the area, there's a house behind you that you can climb to the
Oh,
top,
the
and
giant
just, like,
tree,
a
Okay,
the tree, And then there's that one like guy going, be a shame you fell from this
Oh,
height.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember
I think I
that.
spent like 10 minutes on that part.
I fell off at the top. Almost at the top.
Yeah,
and
same.
I got a little...
I didn't actually do that till today when I was playing for like just prep of this podcast. I was like, oh, I never saw this vine that wraps around this tree that takes you all the way to the top. And God, that is some difficult platforming.
So you need to be so precise on it too. It's a little frustrating.
I was playing with keyboard and mouse because my controller wasn't working, so it was very hard.
Oh boy, I don't think I could do that.
Hats off to you then.
It took a long time.
I will say too, I'm glad that the game saves your progress with like certain checkpoints, like getting all the paintings stuff like that, because I died during that first mission because I decided to explore around a bit, and then those fucking headless angels got me. Those are really creepy the first time you run to them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, God, that scared me a lot. I was just like, no, stop! Just like screaming.
Like, are you a Doctor Who fan?
Well, I know the episode. I'm a fan of that episode. Is what I meant
So
to
what's
say.
really weird about those enemies, because I think I know what you're talking about, but when I played the game, I don't know if I really encountered them at all.
There's only one area that you really have to deal with one, and that's in like the graveyard in the back where you have to get the painting out the highest point, and there's a rift back there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, so these angels just run around when you hit the bells.
But because I was watching a stream, and I saw them encounter that enemy, and I was like, what is that? I never found that.
They're really creepy too because they run after you so quickly they just deal damage one after the other. So yeah, but I felt that way. Like I'm keep learning new stuff about Dark Souls like every year because I'll just watch Dark Souls and suddenly there's a new enemy and like, wait, I never seen that before. What the hell? Like just last year I learned about those stingray frog things because I never encountered them.
I remember those.
Oh God, I hate those things.
What do you think about the Dweller's Mask?
It's pretty good. I don't
didn't
necessarily like how they use it in Subcon Forest, but my favorite example of them using it is a mission in Alpine Skyline, which is probably the best platforming challenge in the game, if I'm honest.
Oh yeah, it's definitely reminiscent of other games that kind of use a similar mechanic to okay, midair you have to switch it now and you have to really think about this kind of thing. Oh, I didn't know what it did for like the first like 10 minutes.
I didn't either. I kept using it
because
on
your hand
everything.
just handed the yarn for it, and then there's no practical use for a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was to talk to people
Same
in the
thing,
forest
yeah.
because they're like.
Well, really,
"You
I
should
think
try
what they
and
should
break
have
the ice
done
with them,"
is
and I didn't realize.
when you first get the yarn, I feel like they should at least have a little bit more green objects around.
Yeah.
Because
Or-
I was trying to figure out what that thing did for
Yeah.
quite a while.
Or they could have trolled you, like have the first yard you run into on top of a subcon platform, and then when you use it, you just fall through it, and then it's like, oh, that's what it does.
Yeah, that would have been really.
Otherwise,
nice.
I really like the zone a lot too, because you got to explore around a pretty big area and then find all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Subcon was a lot bigger than I initially thought. When I went back to find like relics and yarn pieces and stuff like that, getting all the paintings and unlocking areas, I was like, holy shit, this area is.
And like the color scheme's so surreal too.
It goes
Just
for a
like,
long time.
like the rainbow flames, even when the boss uses them and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was. Man, I didn't connect that the flames that they use in the forest was the same flames as the boss uses. God.
When you talk to those flame spirits,
Yeah.
and they're just like, I want to die. that's the point where I questioned if it
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
kid's
definitely
game.
not a kid's game at that point. Because like the first
Yeah.
thing you see is a mafia guy get his soul sucked into a painting, and then you burn it immediately.
Yeah. Oh, and then you get the hook shot and you grab onto a noose and it's like.
Yeah, there's a lot of nooses
"I
around."
haven't had a neck as good as yours in a while. And you're just like, oh.
Yeah, those guys actually legitimately creeped me out when they were talking, because I just let them talk. They say some pretty dicey things. Like, that's like creeped me.
I wonder what does this game have an
Yeah.
ESRB rating, or because it's just only on Steam at the moment, or because I wonder what it would get.
I don't know.
It would definitely at least have to be like a teen rating, right?
You said,
Like it definitely
I
wouldn't
think
be
like
a...
isn't E10 all the rage?
yeah, I guess because you wouldn't see nooses and souls being thrown into fire in the E game.
Well, there's a noose in Thousand Year Door.
Oh yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle of the main town as well. But it doesn't tell you have a nice neck.
That's
Like-
true.
And, oh man, the mansion level... like,
Oh yeah.
I was
Oh,
legitimately freaked out.
I would. Yeah.
That one scared me.
I wish it wasn't like so driven to you just do pointing. I wish she wandered around the house looking for you instead of just going back and forth.
Yeah, I thought she did that for the longest time, which is why I was like on edge, and then I realized it was on the timer and I was like, okay. I think
She will chase you if you go into the bathroom and you take too long to get the key. She will chase after you, which is
I
kind
think
of
it's just when I first went in there, and Hat Girl just stumbles backward. I didn't really expect it, and usually I expect these sorts of things.
yeah.
And whenever Vanessa is there, it's so obnoxiously like loud, and there's so many visual effects that it just gets to me, and I'm like, go away.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
want you here. It's creeping me out,
it's-
especially reading the letters and figuring out that she probably did some very horrible things to some prince guy.
Oh, yeah, have you seen all the memory book pieces for that time riff in that level?
I think, yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I guess this is a spoiler cast.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I have not. I only did that once because I was really bad at finding them, and I didn't want to look stuff up, and I still need to find those.
Do you want me to tell you what the plot twist there is?
Well, what is it? I don't really care.
Okay,
Spoilercast.
basically the prince she's talking about is the Snatcher.
Oh, damn.
No, are you shitting me? That was my theory, actually, but I'm like, no, that's like fan fiction. I thought it was...
So with the puzzle pieces with that level, I'll go through the story. So she was going to be married to this prince. She sees the prince interact with some other girl, but he was really just buying flowers for her. She gets jealous. She throws him into prison. He gets corrupted, and he turns into a Snatcher.
That I was thinking, but I immediately discarded it and never thought about it again because I'm like, no, it wouldn't be the Snatcher. Like that seems like me looking into the game too much. I really wish I would have found all of the pictures, but I'm just so bad at finding the pictures that
I guess we didn't address them, but yeah, when you go into the rifts, there's these pictures that are just optional. But if you collect all of them in these rifts, you build basically
I'm
lore
gonna
for
go
each
find
world.
them. When we're done with this, I'm booting that game up to go find pictures
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
for my fan fiction theories.
So I'm an idiot because I spent like 10 minutes realizing that I had to jump on the piano after putting the key in.
It's not very obvious what you're supposed to do because it
took
just
me a
highlights
while.
that there's a key in the bookshelf.
Yeah.
it kind of took me a while to
Like everything else was
to figure out what I was
simple,
doing.
But I didn't know you had to jump on the piano twice.
For me, it was the balloon because I never wandered over to the balloons, so I was like, how the fuck do I get that key up there?
Yeah.
I just sat there for a while reading notes.
When I did the balloon the first time, I was like, surely it won't make me do that again. So I spent ages like, okay, what's the next step?
Yeah.
But the next step was just to do the balloon again.
Yeah, yeah. I love that in games when you're overthinking a solution. And it's just happens to be the simplest thing.
Yeah.
I really like the effect of seeing your shadow through the wall too. It's a really creepy shadow, which is jumping back and forth. That was just a really good chapter in general. And then when you get to the top, it plays like the similar to safer music from Resident Evil, and you just feel, a little bit more calm.
Yeah.
I didn't feel calm because I thought she was still after me, so I just like ran up there and got it.
Oh, that was really good. What was I gonna say? Did you guys do the challenge in the well where you can go through the whole thing without touching water?
No, I didn't realize that was a thing.
What? I don't know any of these things. What the fuck? Like,
We had a very prepared podcast. There's a lot of
I fully completed that game. I don't know anything about
There's
this.
achievement for when the water's rising. It actually does rise at a certain speed. If you get through that entire level without touching water, you get an achievement for it.
I can't see achievements because I've got the review copy. I don't know if that's like a glitch or whatever, but...
Oh yeah, and I had several moments when I beat the final boss a couple times just to see what the outcomes were like, and because I had a review copy, like at the left there was like console commands that just said I couldn't get the achievement, so it like locked me. Like I don't have those achievements, so, and I can't see them either because when you view total, it just takes you to the store page.
Yeah, that's a shame. They have pretty good titles and puns and names, stuff like that too. So I check them out afterwards. Well, we're missing a level. We're missing 2 levels. The mailing one was kind of nothing.
Yeah, that was pretty short.
Yeah, I guess they were just trying to fill out the
that
area.
Felt like they needed a mission, and they made a mission. Though it could have been to introduce people to the scooter, because you might not have it at that point, even though I did.
Yeah.
I like the toilet boss. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
That was definitely like a throwback to playing Cocker's Bed for the first time. It's like, oh, I'm fighting shit. Awesome.
Sadly, I don't think there was any like romantic lore or fan fiction related to toilets, so
that's good.
Otherwise, Snatcher boss was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely died a few times in the Snatcher boss. Maybe I'm just bad at these games, but I thought it was pretty hard.
I thought it was telegraphed so well. Like, when he does the thing where you have to pick between 2 of them, I immediately noticed the wink.
Yeah.
it felt so natural. I was like, oh, I gotta hit him on the left side. And his boss theme is next to the final boss, might be my favorite. I love it.
Did you unlock the remix for it?
I don't think so. I only unlocked the remixes I have an electro remix for Mafia Town, and I have a few other remixes for Worlds, but I don't think I have the...
Yeah, it turns into a more orchestrational, like epic sounding one, like a Grant Kirkhope game.
One thing that I'm a little bit kind of like on is how you have to get that stuff via a random lottery.
Yeah.
Because at first it was really exciting to get like new hat skins that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
But I kinda, I don't know. It feels, I kinda just want the stuff that I want. And I don't know, having to go through the lottery machine every single time and having to get Rift tokens in the first place, I don't know.
Luckily, it's all in game and it doesn't incentivize microtransactions.
Yeah.
I think it just speaks about gaming's taste nowadays, where everyone wants to gamble, including me. I think it just feels more exciting to go in there and roll some slots rather than just buying things normally.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if, like, the slots were cheaper, but if you wanted to buy what you want, then it would be more tokens.
I think it's like like having it be cheaper might have solved my problems, because I didn't feel like I had remotely enough items by the time that I fully completed the game. I was like, why? I still don't have so many of these roulette items. Because I don't know if they give you enough Rift tokens for it.
So they defo don't have enough in the core game as it is, but when they added in Steam Workshop this week, you can just add Rift tokens as you wish to custom levels.
Oh, cool.
I might do that.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure there's someone that's going to release a level that has like 5 million Rift tokens, but they're meant to like incentivize. Oh, hey, try out these custom levels.
That's cool. I like that.
Although, yeah, I agree. It would have been more fulfilling if you could get like the full amount of Rift tokens that covers all the items in that shop.
Yeah.
What color scheme did you end up getting? Because I was watching your video, Dan, and I really wanted that like black golf skin you got.
Oh yeah, that was the first one I ever got.
Yeah,
and
you're
I
so
wore it
lucky.
for a while. But there were some others that. There's one where you have like I think white hair. That might have been the golf one though. I think there's one where you have a certain color of hair and clothing that I did not like at all, so I just kept it off. But the game considered it rare, and I'm like, I guess, but it doesn't. It looks really ugly. I don't like it. But alternatively, the other cosmetic things that are there are all good. I mean, like the color schemes were iffy at best, but everything else is I really dig because I don't think these platformers have enough customizable options to make you look like distinct.
Yeah.
And because you play ukulele and like the ultimate 100% completion bonus is that you get trousers, and it's
Oh my
like,
God.
oh cool.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But that's why I'm just excited for this resurgence of like customizable stuff. Because Mario Odyssey looks like it's doing the same thing, kinda.
yeah.
So I'm really excited to like not have to look at the exact same character the entire game.
Yeah, especially if it happens to be a design you don't like that much, you can mix it up.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked is how when you equip badges, you can actually see the badges you have equipped on.
Yeah.
And, like that is just such a little touch, but it went a really long way, I thought.
Oh yeah. The badge guy is creepy as hell. They did a really good job with him.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Mm-hmm. I thought my game was glitching at first.
So did
it got
I.
me for a while.
It just reminds me of like an Adventure Time thing where you see this like creature from another dimension like just phasing.
Well, I
in
saw him and I'm like, uh-oh, I need to change my settings. And
That's really great.
I kind of want to know more about him. Like what? Like
Oh, you gotta save it for the sequel.
how did he become that? Because he just has a throwaway line where he's like, oh, I think he says like he spent a bunch of time somewhere.
Yeah.
And like it did bad things to him. I don't know.
Just took a bad trip one time.
But I guess it's like from the Happy Mask Salesman.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Alpine Skyline. So I actually, since you only need 26 to beat the finale, I beat the finale before going to the final world at all. So I had no like reference
Okay.
level for what the giant Yeti guy was.
I could never do that.
Yeah,
like,
neither.
I can't do that.
I just want to see. I
It's
did it
just
because I want to see
something-
if I could, and it worked. You
Yeah.
That's fair
go
enough.
in there with no context.
I'm saying if I tried to do that, I'd walk to up there and I'd be like, this is wrong. I can't do it.
Yeah, because
Alpines.
I want to see if it affected the ending or anything. No, it's exactly the same, and then you just get no context for it. It's really silly.
That's cool though. Like, I guess for people that just want to smash through it as fast as they can.
Well, plus, like,
And
I
I could-
don't expect like everyone to get every piece. Maybe some people aren't as skilled, so you want to
Yeah.
leave things open. I do like the fact that there's only 40 of these like timepieces, because not only it makes each one feel unique, it's like an achievable number. Because you look at the 120 in Mario 64, it's like, fuck, that'll take forever.
yeah.
Yeah, 40 is a much more dealable number.
I was trying to 100% complete Mario Sunshine recently.
Ugh.
It just drains the life out of me.
Good luck getting those blue coins.
I do 64 out of habit,
Yeah.
but Sunshine is too much, and I think this is very welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in ukulele, it didn't have like as many as in Banjo-Kazooie or whatever, and I'm like, I like that. I kind of like my bite-sized collectathons.
I dread ever going back to Donkey Kong 64 because at the time I loved Donkey Kong
Oof.
64, but after everyone's
Yeah.
bragging on it for so many years.
There is such a thing as too many collectibles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think this because even if the yarn becomes basically useless halfway through a game, you still feel like you're building up towards something, and then that's what the rift
Yeah,
yarns
and
are
then
for.
you have the very. They don't have too many of them, but you can find the relics that actually do unlock timepieces,
Yeah. And
and you actually have to figure out how they go together.
Yeah, and also just collecting little what are they sparks or orbs or little things that buy the badges
Oh,
in the
yeah.
first place.
It's all just nice little
Yeah,
sounds.
the ponds.
The ponds, yeah. It just it feels like something you don't have to go out of your way to get because you're naturally just building them up over time. But it's really fun.
Because whenever I play a Mario game, I'm like, I need every coin to get the 100 coin star.
Yeah, and in Sunshine,
in this
it's
game,
a bitch.
I can leave some pawns behind in this game because I know they're consumable and I don't need all of them.
Exactly.
I can beat stressless.
This game's setting up so many precedents for future games now. I'm scared.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well worth it. 5 years in the making, though. Okay, so I guess back to Alpine Skyline. I kind of wish it was a little bit more driven than just being totally open as it was, but you know.
Oh man, I'm like completely opposite. This is my favorite level by far. Just being able to go and do whatever you want. It felt like this was the next step of a platformer. This is what Ukulele felt like it wanted to be.
Yeah.
Like a big open world.
I think it was just so drastic from being driven like the other 3 levels were.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. When I saw the free roam option, I was like, oh no. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. I think the twist is nice where
when
it turns into a diseased world for a moment.
Yeah, that was great. Going like up the stairs and then you hit that really long first zip line. That was just so nice. That was like such a cool.
It reminded me of like Journey, when you're flying at the end. The zooming past stuff. The music is really good too. It reminded me of Outside Island from Wind Waker.
Yeah,
it kind of does. Yeah.
I never picked up on that, but you're totally right.
Yeah, so I totally didn't use it because I beat the game early at first, but the time stop hat kind of breaks all the bosses.
I didn't use it either until you told me that it works on the final boss, and that kind of blows my mind a little
Oh yeah,
bit.
it makes that first phase
Do you
instant.
think they would account for that?
But I think it's because it costs so much, and that by that point you might have gotten impatient and beat the game that it doesn't really care anymore.
I had so much yarn that I always, as soon as I got the first yarn piece, I could make the hat right then and there.
Oh my gosh.
So I was really anal about getting every single collectible. So I didn't know it was what I could and couldn't leave behind.
Yeah. But, well, it definitely, I think the time stop thing definitely helps when you're climbing up that giant windmill, because that windmill is a bitch.
I didn't even use it there, because I didn't have
neither.
it when I did the
Oh,
windmill.
look at Dan, all good with his video games.
I didn't get the time slot hat until I wanted to do that Mafia Town level.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
I didn't even know that existed, because I thought I was... For a while, I thought I was done with Mafia Town, and I went back. I'm like, what? Why is there another mission?
Well, it turns it from impossible to, like, the easiest thing, because you just, mash it over and over.
Yeah. It feels a little bit pointless.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, by that point, too, I unlocked a lot of Rift tokens, a lot of coins on stuff, so I didn't get, like, any new optional cosmetic for the hat. It just seemed really late game and kind of like an afterthought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a one mission use kind of hat.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I really like that the level where you had to use the Dweller's Mask a lot, but the level following that where you had to, when you're doing well on pollen, you spend so much time just walking between each of the zip lines. I think I'd say it was welcome a little bit.
Yeah, I did like how every time you hit a timepiece in Alpine Skyline, that didn't kick you out.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, you gotta keep going.
I was very glad about
You're like-
that. Because I was worried when you were in Mafia Town and they kicked you out, but then I'm like, oh, that's for a reason. But when you go to the free roam stage, you kind of expect that you stay there. And they made it more convenient too by just putting you in the middle.
Oh, so I had a problem with that where there was one of the time rifts. I was doing the lava stage. I hit all the faucets and completed that. But then I saw a time rift and I said, I'm just gonna go do that time rift. And when I came back, I had to redo all the faucets on the lava stage again.
Oh no.
It was the one time that I got really frustrated, but luckily, after doing it once.
I feel like I may have ran into a similar issue, but I blocked it out of my mind. That sounds really familiar to me. So I may have done that on a different mission.
Yeah, I think I did that on the Mafia Town mission where you have to collect to open the vault or whatever, the safe.
Oh yeah.
I got almost all the
Which, by the
pieces.
way, that was an agonizing mission until I realized that if you jump on the safe, it tells you where they all are.
Oh, so on the golden one, there's one that paths through the floor of an area. I didn't know I had to walk past it. I thought I was just pointing at the ground and oh, it's around here somewhere.
I didn't know until an hour later that I could even jump on it for it to help me. Because I was like, I didn't think to do that. thought it was just like a visual thing, and I looked, and I'm like, oh, those are pointing to the damn things, aren't they? I'd spent an hour just roaming Mafia Town, like, these are really hard to find.
Yeah, I think the game devs probably figure out the same thing, and it was that, oh, we can just make this easier, just put them right next to it and have a path thing to it, because that really helps out.
Yeah.
I think finding the saves in the first place is kind of difficult, because they are so small and they don't really stand out.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah, they just blend into the background.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're kind of responsible for that disease spreading in Alpine Skyline by getting all the timepieces?
Absolutely. I felt really guilty.
Yeah, but I didn't quite understand, like, I don't know what I did to them. I just know that when you get a timepiece, they just turn bad. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't really understand the link.
Some of the little guys that are around in that level mention, they're like, oh, there's these purple flowers that are sprouting up all of a sudden, and the more timepieces you get, the more they're like worried about it. What the connection is, but that was kind of cool.
I mean, at least you deal with it.
Yeah.
But I actually do want to talk about something that I had like an emotional roller coaster with that I probably really shouldn't have. So there's like a maelstrom of emotions that go into this moment. There at the lava cake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a review copy. I didn't really know anybody else who had a review copy at the same time as me. So I get to the lava cake and I didn't really know what happened, but later I'd find out that it was an honest-to-God, like game breaking, I say, because you cannot finish the mission. It's a bug that would not let me hookshot after you get shot out of that cannon.
Oh, no.
If you know what I'm talking about.
That must have sucked.
It literally, I could not hookshot it because she was turned backwards, and you can't move when you're getting shot out of the cannon. So at first I'm like, oh, this is like a bug. I should probably report this to the devs. And then later I got the time stop hat, and for some reason when you use the time stop hat, it fixes the bug. And I was like, wait a minute, because at this point I'm like, did you really make like this a completely not obvious use for the time hat? Because I'm like, why? Who would ever think to use the time hat here? So I'm going through, like, I put that in my review too.
Yeah.
And then I think the lead developer, somebody on the dev team was like, yo, that's a bug. And I'm like, oh my god. Apparently it's a bug that only happens to like half the people that own the game. Oh my god, that almost got
I'm sure it should.
because I had nobody to talk to when I encountered the bug. I couldn't just be like, hey, does anybody else notice this bug? Because no one had the fucking video game.
So story time. When I had to review Dark Souls 3 in a week because I happened to get the review copy late, so I was just rushing through it, and you would reach points where you would just get stuck on like, there's no tutorials. I can't watch a VOD video thing and then just get clues on everything. So,
well, that was my first response. Was like, can I watch a video of someone playing the game? And I'm like, well, there's no videos out. The game is not out.
And then with the Ashes of Ariandel expansion, when I didn't know about the Dark Dragon, what's her name? Mid something. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the fourth boss, because the dragon, you knock it into the pit, and then you don't get souls for it, and you're like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah.
And so I was writing my review and said, okay, I can get this review up like 5 hours before embargo breaks. I did a good job. Then someone said, there's a fourth boss, right? And I was like, oh shit. And the next 3 hours spent fighting that really tough boss.
I think what I've learned getting a review copy is that I underestimate the power of YouTube walkthroughs. Like, because I don't realize how much I use those things for video games.
Well, it's so easy nowadays. Just Google, hey, what's the solution to this thing? And then,
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Though when the lava cake worked, it was great. And what Alpine Skyline kind of reminds me of, which is really ironic considering it's a free roam level, is it reminds me heavily of Super Mario Galaxy.
I can see that.
It's like if you put a hub in Super Mario Galaxy instead of like the observatory, because the observatory is not like the hub I'm talking about, because in Alpine Skyline you just sort of
select.
In Alpine Skyline it's kind of like the mission select, except that zip lines are your mission select and you can do them all in any order, kind of like Galaxy if you had enough stars to do that. So that's what it plus. Lava Cake looks like it's straight out of the one galaxy in that game. That I don't even remember what it's called, but it looks just like it. So I was like, wow, this. I think I knew what they were referencing there, or maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah. You're bringing up the hub thing now. It does kind of add to the weirdness because it feels like basically the hub that leads to all the different islands feels like an extension of the spaceship, and then you're just picking off which direction you want to go, right? Instead of clicking an option on the world map. Very strange.
I was gonna say the Twilight Bell, like, ooh, that is some of the best.
That's some good level design.
That's my favorite platforming challenge in the game, right there.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I really love that little simple send off at the end where you just have to use it just to go get the bell that's stuck inside a wall. Those cats, those invisible cats, I hate them so much.
Those can go die. I want them all to go to hell and burn.
You want them all to go to Subcon and get their souls stolen.
They need to get out of my life. Someone patch them out. I hate those
That
things.
time riff, I brute forced it just by getting hit and sitting up in the air and just...
Well, I got lucky in that. I just avoided them and then it lowered. And I'm like, okay. That was actually one of the easier ones.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why I had such an easy time with them. I think I was just so conditioned to be like, these are the worst enemies I've ever encountered in a video game, so avoid them like the plague.
Because even when if I know I see him and I hear him coming at me, the melee is so short range that you don't get the beat on them.
I think they attack way too fast for me to ever understand what happened to me until it happens.
I was gonna say, they take a pawn, you're like, whatever, but then they take one of your hats and it's like, what happens if I don't get this back? Like, is it gone? Do I have to go get more yarn? Like, I was genuinely scared that I would not get my hat back if I didn't fight those stupid cats.
Okay, since I did the finale before getting to Alpine, I ran into one that stole my hat, and I was like, wait, what happened in this game? What? And then I had to look around, and I could see the skirting, but yeah, technically sequence broke. I was without a hat for a second. I was like, is this normal? So that was very interesting. I'm so glad they have all those little pillars that light up to show you things you've done in that zone, because I would have gotten very easily confused on what things I've already done, and it takes so long to travel around.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't like about Alpine Skyline, was when you unlock a second path on one of the zips, you have to go to it to the other end and then go back down
and
it.
Go back, yeah.
They didn't just put the deviation on the side that you switched it, which would have made a lot more sense, but this is minor gripe.
Yeah, I do like the little game design thing that I did. I think it was really clever. Is they added pawns to those slip lines, so it gave you something to do when you're writing them, and it wasn't super consequential.
I was so bad at getting them. I missed so many. I ended up by just putting on the magnetic badge out of frustration.
That's a really good. That's the badge you kept throughout the entire game. That's a really good badge.
I don't think I ever took that one off.
However, it did make me pick apart pawns that I didn't want when I was at full health. So that was like a slip turn for that.
There's a time rift in Alpine Skyline that took me probably an hour to find, and I was just aimlessly wandering around trying to find it.
Oh, which one was that?
I kept looking at the photo. It's one that's on top of a chimney or something.
Oh yeah, in the cat, it's in the cat
the
village.
house.
Yeah, that one takes a little bit.
Because I traveled everywhere because I could not recognize the scenery. I think because Alpine Skyline looks so different, no matter everywhere you are, it looks different.
Yeah. So it doesn't
because the angles are always different. That's why the photo system's kind of genius. And I love trying to look for them.
I actually think
it
that's
just
the cat.
forever.
That's Invisible Cat time riff as well, because it takes place in the cat village.
Yeah.
Those cats.
God, yeah. What? Man, that was just a small blotch on this goddamn game. Those stupid cats.
I wish the dweller mask would make them visible or something like that. Give it
that'd be
more
cool.
of a function. I guess we skipped over it with Subcon Valley, but I really like the whole contract thing they were building up towards at the end, where you're just writing in your own terms, and then the Snatcher's like, that's not how it works, right?
We're best friends forever now.
If you read her diary, she's kind of cold-hearted, and especially during the ending where she just blows them all off. It's pretty entertaining.
You wouldn't expect her to be so I don't know. You look at her and you're like, oh, it's just a sweet little girl, and then she said some really nasty things in her diary.
Oh yeah, she's a very passive-aggressive silent protagonist. So let's get to the finale. I think that was a pretty good final level. It reminded me a lot of any Bowser's Castle kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, the platforming marathon was so good. I loved it. Every second of it I enjoyed.
My favorite part was in the very beginning where everyone's just lined up and you have to take like a ticket.
Yeah. And I'm imagining
Wait,
all
is there
that
a
because
ticket to
everyone
take?
has to go through that thing before they talk to Red Hood at the end, and so I guess everyone has about the same skill level as you.
I was thinking that. I was like, how are these big yaks just getting to the end? Like, there's one in the middle of the whole, like, gauntlet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how did you get here? Like, did you swim in the lava? Like, is that a thing you can do?
And those owls at the middle that are you have to kill 3 of them to get past that skull thing. They're just messing with you for no apparent reason, throwing bottles at you. Nothing but dicks in this game. Well, I guess that's like a main point that Mustache Girl brings up is like everyone you work with is kind of an asshole, like a villain for a world in any other video game.
Yeah.
And
now that you mention it, there's not really like, I guess the people in Alpine Skyline are nice.
yeah, or at least they're
But
neutral.
you don't really interact with anyone centrally in that. Anyway.
Yeah, but all the birds are jerks. All the people in Mafia Town that you're helping out are jerks. It's something else. Subcon especially.
I was gonna say, the little hooded, like, spirits in Subcon seem kind of nice. They're just, like, kind of shy, I guess. Like little shy guys.
I wonder what's the explanation of why they like the apples and why they explode. There was no lore given to that, but I guess I just rolled because it was a video game.
Yeah, that was a weird thing that took me a while to figure out. Why apples, and why do they hate this fruit so much?
And why do they explode on ice?
Yeah.
Video games.
Yeah.
That was a really good last boss fight, I believe, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind
I
of
really
broke
like that.
it by having the time slot hat. I kind of ruined it for myself.
Oh yeah, sprint hat's really good too for dodging those pillars she brings up.
I didn't have, well, I had the time stop hat, but I was like, nah, it wouldn't work, so I just didn't use it.
It kind of, I think, it went for that whole like bombastic like Undertale thing where everyone's helping you at the end and you get unlimited health. I thought that was a really cute touch.
Yeah, that was really nice. Just seeing everyone kill each other so you can live.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. When they won't let you leave either. They're like, they'll let you leave. That almost got to me, I have to admit. I wasn't feeling like too much of the feels, but when they're like all hanging on your ship, I'm like, oh, don't do this to me.
Oh, so after beating her, she's just on the ground unconscious. Did you try hitting her?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
she
I
makes
hit her several
Yeah,
times.
she makes that little squeaky toy noise. It's really great.
I did that to the conductor as well.
Yeah, there's so many good touches in that game that add a lot of character to it and make your character look like a total asshole.
Yeah, it's definitely a game full of just careful attention to detail. Like, everything is made to be
That's kind of
cute.
what you need to succeed in to sell platformers again. You kind of need because Yooka-Laylee was fine for me, but I think you kind of need this level of. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's super polished because in some aspects it kind of feels less polished than Yooka-Laylee, but I think in all the places that matter it feels like it has more attention to detail overall. I think it also is the sense of charm and humor that really separates it from anything else I've ever played.
Yeah, so I know we all did it multiple times, but would you genuinely give her a timepiece? Because I feel that's kind of irresponsible.
Every single time that I did it, I always gave it to her because I'm like,
Well, it's like after someone who proves himself to be just a fascist dictator and that wants to burn everybody.
Well, the way that I saw it, I was like, okay, it's a one-time piece. I thought that her power was derived from the fact that she had hundreds of them. So I'm like, one-time piece. She'll probably do good things with it. I don't know. But I don't know what happens if you say no. I just feel like saying no is
I think
mean.
because I played through it 3 times and I didn't see any difference. Basically,
I just couldn't hit no because I felt like a bad person if I
Yeah.
said no. The fact that they give you a choice is what gets to me. Because I'm like, oh, I can't. That make me feel like a bad person if I don't give it to her. I don't know.
I wonder why everyone wants to hang out with you at the end too when you blow them all off. Because I guess they just really like you or something.
I guess so.
The charm
Well,
is so
if you look at
strong.
it like this, you were the star actress in their movies, you were like probably their best. So they're probably Snatcher's best assistant ever, like most efficient assistant. I don't know. I guess was the Mafia there? I don't even remember.
Well, the boss is stuck on your ship as a bunch of eyeballs.
So you take him home?
I guess you take you take the Mafia boss home because he needs money to go.
Or you take the cat chef home too?
Yeah. I like how she calls you an alien because technically you are to their planet.
Yeah.
I'd never understood the purpose of the cat chef.
Well, I forgot she existed until just now.
Like, she gives you she's like, oh.
She teaches you how to use the relics, basically, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think if the game had more time, they probably would have had in a whole bunch of NPCs to just populate your ship, and then just, people collect, basically.
Yeah. I thought when she's like, if you ate mafia food, you would die. So I was like, oh, is this foreshadowing for the big boss? But nothing like that happened, and I was kind of confused about Cat Chef's purpose.
Yeah, I guess for the Mafia of Cooks, they're not very good if they keep killing people, so... So I'm a big fan of finales where you see, when you go through the credits, you see everything you passed by and all the enemies and all the worlds, and this game has that, like Mario World and stuff like that.
It was very adorable as well.
I wish more games did that. I got worried at the end when you're in the bed sleeping because I thought I was going to turn to Mario 2 where all is a dream the whole time. And that always seems like the biggest F you to me, because it's just, thanks for wasting your time in this thing that never happened.
Thanks for living out the stream sequence.
It's kind of weird to me that nothing changes at all, no matter, because what it seems like to me, at first I beat the game without having all the timepieces because I forgot one. The last timepiece I ever grabbed was it the mailbag
room?
Yeah.
It was the mailbag room for me too.
I was like, I didn't put two and two together. I'm like, where's the last timepiece? I looked at the format and I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, I forgot this even existed.
Yeah. I guess we'll just wrap this up with, what's your favorite zone?
Subcon Forest.
Okay, mine was Dead Bird Studio.
Alpine Skyline.
Oh, we're all...
I might have a Snatcher bias, but I loved every mission in that world. Even the mailbag one.
Yeah.
I love it, because Snatcher was in that one. He's like, I don't know why I love him so much. He's just, I think, because Youngtown voices him.
Yeah.
And his voice is perfection. I don't know. He's like the perfect, dick guy. I don't know. He's just... I love him so much, and I love horror worlds in general.
It seemed like he really enjoyed doing that role too. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've always loved horror worlds. So.
Okay. So we got 2 questions this time. Pretty short list, but I guess no one. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Do you feel like this game's kind of got overshadowed by other stuff lately? Because I don't see many people talking about it.
I don't know.
It's like everyone's talking about Cuphead instead of this game.
That is very true. Yeah. When I made my review of it, I had so many people who told me in the comments that they forgot this game even existed. And that kind of surprised me, even though I also did. But, even I knew, a month or two before it was released, I was like, oh yeah, Hat in Time. They, a bunch of my commenters straight up forgot that it even existed. And maybe that's the reason why. Maybe they didn't do a good enough job, trying to remind people that it was a thing.
Yeah.
But their Twitter was on point, so I don't know.
Okay. I think they'll get a second chance when it comes to consoles because people are thirsty for stuff. But I just hope that because now it's coming to Switch after Mario Odyssey. I think that might rub the wrong direction. I don't know. We'll see.
I think a post Mario Odyssey release would be good as well, because I don't know if 3D platformers just have the power that they used to, right? And especially after Yooka-Laylee sort of fizzled, everyone kind of lost faith again.
Yeah, because everyone was like,
so
these games weren't good to begin with, and it's like,
exactly. And then
it really angers me. I hate when people say that.
Yeah.
Grinds my gears.
How long did it take you to beat the game? Because I beat it in 5 hours and I got all the timepieces in 8, I think, or 10.
Well, since I fully completed it on the outset, it took me 9 hours.
Okay. I've got 12 hours, but I'm pretty notorious at leaving my games idle. So I would say 9 or 10 hours to 100% it.
I think that's pretty good time for basically $30.
Yeah. Yeah, because how much is it?
Yeah.
I don't know how much it is for you guys. Cause
It is. I think it is $30.
Yeah, $30.
Right?
I think there was maybe 10% off during the first week or something.
That is very good value for money.
Mm-hmm. Especially, like, a lot of it resonates with me. That's why I can, like, remember all of it, because it just feels like you can remember every single act, every single part, compared to Mario, where it's just like, that was the level, I think, where I raced Koopa to Quick again. I don't know.
Yeah, you remember the paintings, not every star, but with this one, you remember every timepiece in every world, which is nice.
Yeah. Okay, so we got our 2 questions. First one is from Pretty Obvious 7. Are there any parts of the game you consider closer to imitation of other games rather than inspiration? For example, I feel only the merit in the time rift levels is that they remind me of the secret courses from Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, well, I think that was a blatant inspiration.
Yeah.
Because they have the exact same, like, tile sets, I think, even.
Yeah, but I think they were, just good, like, simple platforming challenge, and that didn't have to be tied down to any aesthetic.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
The song is really good too.
It's the best song on the game.
Song's my favorite. Yeah, it is the best song. When I put that in my review, everybody was asking me what that was.
Yeah,
because it was like, apparently, I guess it was so good that people just wanted it.
It's a very YouTube video aesthetic song, like especially at the moment. Like it's got that hi-fi, lo-fi hip hop sound.
Yeah,
which everyone's like craving at the moment, which is really good. But like for the question, I guess it's the only part, right? Everything else.
Well, I think people still compare it to other collectathons, but that's just the problem of being basically inspiration of that genre. Is like Neo is a really good game by itself, but it's forever going to be tied to Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know what it was, but a lot of the lava levels did remind me of Sunshine. I don't know if that was just because...
the one in Mafia Town where it floods with lava is straight up almost exactly like a mission in Pianta Village from Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, the first time you go to that area,
where you lose your flood pack and like it's all lava filled.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that'd be good then.
So I think like everything's a reference, honestly.
Yeah, it wears its heart on its sleeve, but that's not a bad thing.
I also really like the use of Gabe the dog. Good memeing. Okay. Second question. I'm sorry if I pronounced it, but at Cafe Azawa, apologies. What's your favorite hat based on aesthetic? I liked my little chimney sweep sprint hat.
My lizard reptile thingy is the best.
My black witch hat that I had to put a color on. But I'm also torn because I really like the 90s sprint hat visor. Like, that's a good aesthetic. That needs to come back. You know, like, those visors that you used to get with, like, no top?
Is that in the game?
Yeah.
I didn't...
Jesus, it was like a gambler kind of poker hat thing.
I need that. I don't have all these hat alternatives. I need those.
I used it so long for the sprint hat that I thought that was the default for a while. Like, I forgot what the original sprint hat was.
Well, I forgot what the original was for the reptile. Well, like, now I call it the reptile hat, but it's the sprint hat.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. Let's plug your stuff. King K, I'm not going to use the same joke again, but where are you?
Where am I?
Yeah, where are you?
I'm in my basement. I am on... You want me to, like, give links? I forgot how we did this last time.
Yeah, to plug whatever you want.
Well, I think YouTube...
You can plug Super Bunny Hop if you want at this point, I don't care.
He's very good.
Yes.
YouTube.com/Kingdom Claned might still be my URL, which is really annoying. I know that is my Twitter, still, because somebody took King K, and they don't use their Twitter anymore, so I can't, like, ask them to change it. And it drives me up a fucking wall. But my YouTube, you could probably find it with King K as a custom URL, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm working on Sonic, which everyone loves, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you just did your thing on CD, right?
Yeah, and I'm working on Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which will be probably like a 50-minute long video.
A lot of hot takes on Super Peel-Out, which I thought people didn't really like too much in the first place.
Oh yeah. Everybody's like, oh no, it's actually this super important thing. And I'm like, what? Since when? Wait, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I make the videos and I hit 30K somehow. I don't know how.
And Heavy-Eyed, where can we find you?
youtube.com/heavyeyed, and on Twitter at heavyxeyed, because same problem. Some weird hippie stoner has heavy-eyed, but they're on private and have made one tweet, and I hate them. But yeah, I'm working on a Far Cry video at the moment.
Oh, nice. Your Senuous Sacrifice video was very good. I recommend that one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Mitch makes much better stuff than me. You need
That's
to go
not true.
find him. No, you need to find
Yeah,
him.
and make him
Find
catch up in
his
subs,
work.
and then make King
Yes.
very angry. And jealous.
I'll make him very happy. I need him to succeed. He needs to succeed.
Oh, thank you. Dan needs more subs.
All right, listeners, thanks for listening. Speaking of hats, Super Mario Odyssey might be a game we talk about in the future. Who knows? I got a lot of games in mind. But until then, we reached a good end.